Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, so welcome back. We'll continue our discussion on impact of plastics on marine environment. So we were discussing about Great Pacific Garbage Patch and the other garbage patches in the ocean in the previous video. So we'll continue the discussion. Earlier we were talking about the sources of plastic, how the plastics are ending up in the ocean. In this part, we will start looking at what are the adverse impact in terms of from the plastic pollution in the ocean. Once earlier we were talking about how the plastic gets into the ocean. Now let's look at this slide, this slide where we talk about what happens to plastic in ocean. Once they are in the ocean, what really is happening to them. So as you can see over here, again some information similar to what previously, that we have things coming from the beverage litter, tire dust, maritime waste, which is and needles, synthetic fibers, other plastic litters, cigarette butts, plastic dust, plastic bags, microbeads. So these are kind of the different sources coming into the ocean. 6% stays on surface. Earlier what you saw was 1% was for the microplastics. So here we are talking about the entire plastic getting into the ocean, total plastic getting into the ocean. 6% kind of floats on the surface and just near the surface, and on which more than 75% has a size of higher than 2.5 centimeter, and less than 25% has a size of less than 2.5 centimeter. So 2.5 centimeter is kind of almost an inch. So because 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, so slightly higher. So it's almost an inch. So 6% of the plastic in the ocean, in the sea, is floating on the surface level, not kind of when we say surface, someone's like just in the surface area, not just only at the surface and slightly below. So that's where it ends up, and 94% goes underwater. And so most plastic debris ends up underwater, and we know very little about where it goes and what harm it causes, because it goes underwater, and it because of the leaching of certain chemicals from plastic like bisphenol A, BPA. Many times you go these days to many of the big chain shopping area, and you try to buy some plastic containers, plastic bottles. It says BPA free. BPA free is that bisphenol A free. We are worried about bisphenol A. Later in this week, we will be looking at a video on some research that is done by USGS people on bisphenol A on different types of plastic bottles. So we'll talk about that. So it's 94% is underwater, 6% on the surface, and the 6% on the surface. The thing is that many of it is coming from the littering which happens on the beaches. So a lot of littering on beaches, and local authorities. This is coming from Europe data. So local authorities each spend around 173,000 euros a year for cleaning of beaches. So just the beach cleanup cost local authorities on an average around 173,000 euros. So in terms of littering on beaches contributes to the plastic going into the surface floating. Then there are some entanglement, which you may have seen a lot of video. I'll also show you some small clippings of the video of that angle. But then if you go on YouTube or Google videos, you will find lots of videos on plastic getting the animals getting wrapped around plastic, even plastic getting into the neck of so plastic wires through like ropes getting around the neck of a turtle, or neck of a bird, and sometimes the bird's feathers are getting entangled in plastic and the bird is not able to fly. So, a lot of thing is there, and that becomes a problem. So, entanglement, 136 species have been affected. 136 species has been affected as per this report which came out last year, including nearly 80% of seals and 86% of sea turtles. Swimmers and divers are also at risk. So, and there was one video which is there on YouTube where this straw that we use, a straw has gone into the nose, in the nostrils of a turtle. So, the floating straw got into the nose of a turtle, and the turtle was having a very hard time, and these wildlife people who kind of tries to take care of the wildlife population, they saw it and then they took it out. So, it's and then it was really painful, probably it have been painful. So, these kind of, and this was a spotted. If it was not a spotted, that could have led to a lot of problems for the turtle, and we never know, it may have ended up being fatal as well, we don't know. So, and then part of it is also getting ingested. So, ingested, more than 250 species have plastics in their stomachs, including 98% of seagulls. 98% of North seagulls have plastic in their stomach. European shellfish consumers largest ingest around 11,000 pieces of microplastics per year. So, if you are eating European shellfish, you are consuming around 11,000 pieces of microplastics per year. A plastic microbead can be 1,000,000 times more toxic than water around it. So, if you have a plastic microbead, that it will be toxic. So, out of that 6%, that is what we are talking about in terms of what is floating on the surface, 94% goes underwater. Some of these fragments risking ingestion and entanglement. So, they also kind of broken down, and then that kind of goes into entanglement as well as ingestion. So, they also contribute towards that. 70% eventually goes to the sea floor with unknown consequences. We do not know what happens. So, 70% finally eventually sinks to the sea floor, and all the animals living near the sea floor must be getting affected from this plastic at that particular level. So, that is why it gets a lot of media attention. It is a big deal in terms of plastic pollution. This is a report from Australia which kind of talks about the plastic issues in that particular area. So, this year, like last year, it is around 9 million tons of plastic will enter the world's ocean. That is the study suggests that out of that rate we are polluting our ocean doubles every 11 years. So, first we have 9 million tons right now. So, in 11 years from now, it will be 18 million tons. Plastic is so permanent, that is so indestructible, that when you have tossed it in the ocean or even into a dustbin, it does not really go away. So, plastic does not go away. So, that was the beauty of plastic, why we have started using the plastic for the first time, because it is a wonderful material. That is what I keep on saying, that plastic is a wonderful material. It has brought in a lot of it is being used in pretty much every industrial sector, whether it is a automobile, whether it is in your medical industries. You go anywhere, you will find plastics. And the reason for that is it is such a versatile material, different types of it can be easily made into different shapes, and it helps in providing lots of functions. If from a small like a small candy wrapper to all the way to car parts. So, even today if you look at many of the car parts are made out of plastic, and that made car lighter, and that after making it lighter, our fuel efficiency has gone up. So, always it is not that plastic has helped in the environmental cause that way too, because if the car is lighter, your mileage is more, that means less gasoline means less environmental impact. So that's a positive side of it, and we can list several positive side of it as well. So the problematic part is we are not managing the plastic waste properly. So it is the plastic waste which is a problem. Plastic as a material is not of a problem as such. Yeah, there are certain thin plastic which we have banned. There are some single use plastic which we have got used to, which probably is not good. We should avoid using them, but at the same time it is the plastic waste, the waste of, and similarly for municipal solid waste is a problem too. Organics in municipal solid waste, food waste is a problem, yard waste, not managing yard waste properly is a problem. Food waste creates a lot of greenhouse gas. If it can, it's a good source of energy recovery. Similarly, there are variety of waste streams which is a problematic, but since plastic is so much visible and the volume is so high, although weight wise it is only 12% of municipal solid waste, but if you look at the volume wise, it's pretty high and it shows up everywhere. It gets a lot of media attention, and it's good that it gets a lot of media attention. We have to fix plastic waste management problem, but again, as I'm saying, it is the plastic waste management problem. Plastic by itself, just like if we keep on, if we think that from tomorrow we'll not use any plastic, I don't think we can even do that, because like we cannot do many functions without plastic today, unfortunately, or whatever we may call it. We have been dependent on plastic because it's such a wonderful material, and that's why it's used in different spheres. Thing is that we have, once this material, it's at the end of its life of that particular material, we have to manage that plastic waste properly. If we can do that job, it's not of a big of a problem in terms of managing plastic waste. Since we don't manage plastic waste properly, as many other waste stream, it's becoming a problem. So, and so it says plastic does not decompose. That's why it is not actually supposed to decompose, because that's why the whole purpose of plastic was it has a very long life. So you can make a plastic product and it will last for a long time. It just when it gets into the environment, it gets into smaller pieces, gets broken up. So you will have say single plastic bottles which you have can break down to 10,000 pieces of microplastics. Microplastic is a toxic sponge. A study shows that it can be 1 million times more more toxic than the water around it. So that's it's a highly toxic microplastic could be toxic. Now in Australia, they found that they have 192 billion pieces of plastic in Australia's marine environment. This much plastic, including so out of that 180 million from plastic bags, 420 million pieces of plastic bottles, trillions of microplastic beads and fibers, 200 millions of other pieces of plastic container, and 96% of the all biodiversity potentially ingest plastic. So again, these problems are there because we did not manage the plastic waste properly. Had we to manage the plastic waste properly, we will not have these kind of impacts showing up. 90% of the all seabirds are having plastic. The animals most vulnerable to toxic effect of plastic are those at the very top of the food chain, which is actually us. 52% of all sea turtles, 100% of all coral reefs. So they are all impacted by plastic. So it says what we can do. The first 4 step, as you can see, 70% of the marine plastic pollution can be prevented before it enters our ocean. How? You try to recycle. Ban single use plastic bags, remove microbeads from personal care and laundry product, ensure plastic producers and recyclers capture microplastic on their premises. So these all are talking about how to manage the plastic waste or plastic release from industries properly. So that's what we need to work on. We need to work on proper recycling of plastic, what cannot be recycled, like managing of plastic either in a dedicated waste to energy plant, municipal waste to energy plant, or somehow whatever like gasification or whatever works in that particular area. Microplastics, microbeads, which is used in personal care products, that can potentially be phased off. Laundry products use a certain microbeads, we have to use for alternative materials than the plastic microbeads in those places. So as again, the approach needs to be more from managing this plastic release, managing the plastic waste properly, so that we can go forward in terms of having a better control on plastic pollution in our surface water and eventually in the ocean. Now, with all this plastic in the ocean, which is already there or which is going to be there, what is its impact? Where actually it is creating problem? So, we can think about a mechanical impact, and we will also talk about what is known as entanglement. Now, what is mechanical impact? So what we see that around 260 marine species worldwide suffer from entanglement, ingestion of plastic debris. When such contact occurs, organisms are seriously affected by the way, quite often results in death. So it's a plastic which is in the marine species which is present. It is getting impacted from the plastic, and sometimes if the impact could be so high that it can even lead to fatal. Now, how does this entanglement cause problem? It can cause death by drowning, suffocation, strangulation or starvation. Very often birds and small whale species and seals drown in ghost nets, lose their ability to catch fish, cannot avoid predator because of their entanglement. So, they got stuck with some plastic pieces or plastic wires, or somehow they get stuck with all this plastic waste floating around, and once they are stuck, they becomes a easy prey for any predator. So, and then they get consumed, or they cannot eat. So, they get suffocation, they are starved, they cannot eat, they cannot breathe, they cannot swim properly because things have been entangled with all these plastic wires and other stuff in the ocean. So, that leads to drowning, where they are drowned into the ocean, and that leads to fatal situation as well. So, and then there is also ingestion of plastic when it is mistaken for food, but can also occur from incidental intake. In most cases, actually the plastic which goes, it goes inside the stomach or throat or digestive tract and cause damage or a false sense of fullness, which will result in starvation, because they eat these plastics and they think that the tummy is full, but the tummy is full, but there is no really food, that is not real food. So, it is not digested in their body. So, it stays in their tummy, but since it does not digest it, although the tummy is full, they are not getting any energy there, and then that leads to starvation of these species. Some examples that 15% of all whales, dolphins and seals are impacted by plastic as per NOAA, which is National Agency of United States, that NOAA has estimated that 50% of all whales, dolphins and seals are impacted by plastic. And they also know another assumption they have, another estimate they have, that around 100,000 marine animals are killed by plastic each year. Because of plastic, they are getting killed. In 2018, last year, a pilot whale was killed by 80 plastic shopping bags. With the 80 plastic shopping bags, the pilot whale got killed. Vulnerable sperm whales are the species most commonly found killed by plastic debris. So, sperm whales are getting killed by plastic debris. And 2018, a juvenile sperm whale was found on the coast of Spain, with 30 kg of plastic in its gut. My God! So, they have 30 kg of plastic inside the body. And there have been in Indian context in inland, away from the sea, we also see that that our cow or bulls, they are having lots of plastic in their tummy. There have been some, you will find some videos out there. I think we have one which will play in this class as well, where they did some operation on a bull and removed lots of plastic from the stomach because it was making it sick to that particular cow. So, in Germany, 4 stranded sperm whales were stranded on German coast with a stomach contained including car parts, a 13-meter long net and a bucket. So, that is where all there in a sperm whale. In 2013, one was found dead in Netherlands after eating 17 kg of plastic. So, plastic is creating a lot of impact in terms of like a sea life and the wildlife from improper management. Another one was found in California in 2008 with more than 200 kg of fishing gear and plastic bags in its stomach. In 2006, a sperm whale was found dead in Greece with 100 plastic shopping bags, which we just talked about. One of the first whales documented to have been killed by plastic was a sperm whale in France that ingested 30 meters of plastic sheeting in sheets in 1989. So, that was the impact from in France in 1989. That is like 20 years ago. So, 30 years ago. Turtles, which makes a lot of news in terms of the plastic waste impact. All 7 species of endangered sea turtle ingest or are entangled by plastic. More than 50% of the sea turtles eat plastic. 50 to 80% of all dead sea turtles have plastic inside them. The 2 ocean aquariums, great green sea turtle Bob is one of the few sea turtles lucky enough to survive eating plastic. He was rescued after being stranded. So, when they were stranded with plastic all around them, it was rescued. So, that's one of the things this wildlife volunteers, they keep on looking for a species or the animals or turtles or fish, not really feel like of turtles or birds and other things, and they try to save them from this plastic entanglement, and which we see from time to time reported in different news videos, and also on you can find those videos on YouTube. In terms of fish, 114 species of marine fish are known to be regularly entangled in and ingest plastic. At least 1 million fish are killed this way each year. Birds, 2/3 of all seabird species are affected, representing 56% of all seabird species. Millions of birds are killed each year because of this plastic problem. 98% of albatrosses have ingested plastic, and 40% of their chicks died when they are fed this by their parents, because the parents by mistakenly they are feeding plastic pieces to even to their child for the chicks, and then that led to death of some of these chicks as well. Corals are getting affected. Several coral species have been observed starving at the digestive system, have been blocked by microplastics, or their photosynthetic zooxanthellae were killed by being sedated by plastic. Land mammals, half of all camels that die on Arabian Peninsula each year are killed by ingesting plastic bags, which form heavy calcareous lumps in their stomach. An Indian elephant was killed by eating plastic shopping bag in India in 2018. In 2019, the reindeer in Norway were killed by abandoned fishing nets. 8 African elephants died in Zimbabwe in 2016 by after eating plastic bread bags. So, we do have a lot of impact on marine life and wildlife and different animals in terms of plastic pollution. Thing is that unlike humans, wild animals do not have the ability to separate. They don't know what is plastic and what is food. Say they don't have this ability. They don't have the ability to discern plastic from digestible material. Simply put, if it looks like food or smell like food or tastes like food or behaves like food, then it must be food. So, that is what their concept is. So, if it looks like food, and if its taste behaves like food, then it must be food. So, and they end up consuming a lot of plastic based stuff. Filter feeding animals like whales, sharks and baleen whales can ingest plastic by accident. Plastic can release chemicals that smell like food, triggering species such as anchovies to find it. Jellyfish eating species such as ocean sunfish and sea turtles mistake plastic bags and balloon ribbons for jelly. Jelly. Grazing and scavenging animals such as cows, seagulls, dogs and camels regularly eat plastic. that has been contaminated with human food. So, that is we have seen that happening as well. So, plastic microbeads resemble fish eggs and are often eaten by jellyfish, egg eating fish and filter feeders. Seabirds that is skim the ocean surface while flying, such as albatrosses, cannot differentiate floating plastic pieces from litter, floating food from plastic litter. Sonar of some animals can confuse plastic for squids and jellyfish. Hunting seabirds mistake small pieces of suspended plastic, such as cigarette lighters, for a small prey fish. Red, pink and brown pieces of plastic debris are mistaken for shrimp. So, that is what so different scenarios where things kind of can go wrong. So, now what happens, the plastic can get stuck in their throats, causing them to suffocate or prevent them from regurgitating their feed to their cheeks. Plastic can accumulate in animals' stomach, making them feel full, stopping them from eating and resulting in starvation. Entangled marine animals and reptiles may be unable to surface and becomes exhausted from drag and drown. Entangled birds might drown or be unable to find food and water and thus slowly starve. Incision caused by plastic nooses can cause infection that eventually lead to death. So, there are a lot of impact that does happen. Floating plastic debris is spreading invasive alien species around the world. Coral reefs that are littered with plastics are 20 times more likely to be diseased. Fish larvae are 4 times more likely to eat microplastic than actual food. So, because they take this, they think that these are because the smaller pieces of plastic, which are microplastic, is taken up is thought as a food item. So, this is one picture, as you can see here, plastic things, the fish is getting entangled by plastic, as there is a plastic right there. They have you see that plastic entanglement, the plastic kind of have damaged the body. Here again the plastic is in the middle, plastic wires in the middle. So, it is creating a lot of problem with this abundant plastic waste in the middle of the ocean is creating a lot of problem for different species. So, here plastic bag or food, seagulls falls into this olfactory traps. Some fish mistake plastic for krill. Sea turtles confuses bag with jellyfish. So, they think that the plastic bag like single use plastic bags are more like a jellyfish, and sea turtles try to eat that. And here you can see a picture of this plastic actually wrapped around this particular animal, where you see that plastic wires are wrapped around on their body, creating problem for them. So, you will see lots and lots of pictures and videos along this line if you go on YouTube. So, let us look at this particular video and then we will close this particular module. And here in this video there is a small report on what we are talking right now. This is where they have tried to rescue some of these birds which has been affected by plastic pollution. They got entangled, they got there are plastics kind of all over their body. They are even the one bird is not able to fly, as you can see. So, let us watch this video and then we'll be closing this particular module, which will be the second module of week 5.
I mean, this bird is actually from a nest.
So this one is ensnared. The more it twists, the more it turns, it gets tighter and tighter. Yeah. Can you get it in nearer?
Its foot is actually in there, right in the middle here of all this, unfortunately. This is probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen.
So, as you saw that the birds were is entangled with that plastic. There were several other species that are entangled with plastic. So, that is what we have been I have been trying to highlight in last few slides, that things does, and then this video kind of shows you a pictorial representation of the same. So, this is one of the biggest problem when we look at plastic in ocean, where this birds and sea turtles and other species are getting wrapped around with plastic or plastic wires, plastic bags, and this is creating a problem for their health issues, their food, their nutrition, as well as many times they feel full, but because they have plastic in the stomach, but they do not have any energy. So, these are the issues that we have to we are dealing with in terms of plastic pollution in the ocean. So, we will continue our discussion in the next video. So, let us close this video right here, and if you have any questions, feel free to put it on the discussion forum, and we will be very happy to answer that. Thank you, and see you again in the next module.